Jason Bateman, please do more serious roles. You're good at it. Disconnect is a film that I saw recently, and I had not seen a trailer for this movie, and I didn't read a plot synopsis for the film. I could just tell that it had something to do with the way electronic media can control people's lives or affect them. It's about a group of people, and you have these interconnecting stories that at some points converge, at some points don't. But each one of these characters is strongly affected by electronics, the media, social networking, the internet, the news, and it's a way that all of these things combine to show how it can seriously harm a person's life. And some of my friends who saw it with me likened it to Crash. I would say that's a fair comparison, but it seems a little bit more smaller scale. And what I mean by that is that it's a film that shows things that some people in the world may view as innocent, or just simply harmless, and it exposes those things for just how dangerous they actually can be. This film has a very good cast. You have Jason Bateman in there as a father who's dealing with a tragic event in his life. There's another story with Paula Patton and Alexander Skarsgard as a couple affected by internet identity theft. There's a story about the media and news reporting and how that can affect people's lives dangerously. And possibly the most effective story in the film that kind of feels like it's the central one that gets the most attention, because it actually is the best one in my opinion, is this one about how bullying through the internet can truly affect someone's life and then that person's family's life. Disconnect is a really, really well-made film with terrific performances. This is the kind of movie that you can't go into expecting, oh, this is just going to be a nice little fun experience where I watch these interconnecting stories and I'll go home and I'll be so happy about it. No, this is a really deeply affecting movie, and it gets pretty personal at times, and there are times in this movie where you are going to be very disturbed because it's a film that is very realistic in one sense. See, this isn't the kind of movie that shows everyone who types their texts through Facebook and their phone has exactly perfect grammar and punctuation. No, they show like the mistakes that people generally make. I really like that, how they actually showed everything very authentic. When they show a Facebook page in this movie, it looks like a Facebook page. There isn't some fake social networking website that looks like Facebook but it has a different name, like Headbook or something. I could probably make a lot of money if I made that website. That's a bad idea. But this film tries very hard to be just totally authentic, and for that reason there are times when this movie feels really white hot with drama, and I really, really like that about this film. The performances in this movie are great. As I said in my intro, Jason Bateman is an actor who generally does comedy. He's been in serious roles before, like State of Play with Russell Crowe and Rachel McAdams, but here he gives a performance that I've never seen him give. This is the best performance I've ever seen Jason Bateman give ever. For the first half or so of the movie, he kind of is in and out of the frames and he doesn't really have that much to do, but it's really the second half of the film where his character just kind of explodes, and I thought he did such a good job in this movie, and I love to see him do more serious roles like this. Paula Patton and Alexander Skarsgard did a really good job in the film. Michael Nyqvist, I can never get that guy's last name, but he's from the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, along with Paula Patton. That's interesting. They were both in that movie. Connections. That's how my brain works when I think of two actors that are in the same movie and I realize, oh, they're in that movie, and then my brain is like exploding with ideas and I have to control it. But this movie is important for people to see, I really think it is, especially young people, because there's a new generation of kids nowadays, and even some adults who have taken on this persona where they feel like they can become a different person on the internet, and they have absolutely no idea, you know, the harm that that can actually cause. And sometimes people feel like, well, if I'm on the internet and I can type whatever I want or say whatever I want, it doesn't really matter. And this film really opens up the doors to show the consequences of those actions. Not just on the person that they're attacking, but on the online attackers. There is serious consequences in this film that are realistic and have happened in real life. And I really like the fact that the film did not hold back from showing these things. And I really commend the filmmakers for that. This isn't a movie that ends with a whole bunch of literal explosions and car chases and everything. This is a film where a whole bunch of characters interlock and interweave in certain ways that becomes very riveting in its final 10 to 15 minutes. The only issues that I had with this film are that it is a little slow paced. I think it's a little bit longer than it should have been. And whenever you have a film with multiple stories, there's always going to be that one story that's just not as interesting as others, and then one other story that will rise to the top, and then you'll go back to that one other story and you'll be like, okay, okay, here's the one that's just kind of alright. Let's get to the next one because that one is the one that I'm really focused on the most. And that's really the biggest flaw of these types of films. Whenever you have multiple stories interweaving like this, there's always that one that just isn't quite as good as the rest. But overall, I would definitely recommend seeing Disconnect. It's not a big, huge movie that a ton of people are going to go out and see, but I do think it is an important film. But it's one of those films that just does not hold back from some of the horrible things that happen in society nowadays based off of the internet and the news and electronic media. I'm going to give Disconnect a B+. So if you guys have seen the film, I'd like to know what you thought of it, or if you've had an experience of some kind in which your life has been affected adversely by the internet or by the news or by any form of electronic media or social networking. Tell your story below. That'd be interesting to hear that as well. We can maybe get a little discussion going, a support group on the Disconnect movie review by Chris Stuckmann. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and if you like this review, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.